we have like the generational gap and we kind of miss each other, and maybe some of these things we just don't know. I would like to know, what was the tonality? Was there a difference in people's tone at the death of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X? Did people react the same?
You had more, of course, reacting to the death of Dr. King.
Okay.
Because of his religion, I would say. Many people were scared of Malcolm
They
X
were scared
because of the Nation of Islam and being a Muslim.
Well, remember,
and
he moved away from the Nation of Islam.
I know, but
they were still afraid of it.
Yeah, you still had people because of his ties with him. But Dr. King, because of the religion, he was a preacher, and he had other people other than black people involved in what he was doing. You know, but the numbers were larger
for King.
Right, but the young, see, and he died in '65 when the transformation that you're talking about was just starting off for Malcolm X when he got killed. And because he was in some cases, I'm told him and Dr. King were about to unite on some things. So, sure, Dr. King's death had more of an impact, but I'm like, okay, you're talking about 1965, and it was on a Sunday afternoon when he got killed. I'm talking about Malcolm X now, and I'm like, somewhat. You seen the movie The Greatest? No, you seen the movie Ali? Ali,
yes.
Where Will Smith plays Ali, and he's riding around in his car, and he finds out Malcolm X had been shot, and he did what? He started crying. And I don't recall crying, but I was up. You know, you were saying to yourself, how could this guy get killed? And the first thing came across your mind was, before you knew all the details,
the CIA.
Yeah, or somebody white had assassinated him. You didn't believe that the killers were black.
Somebody, you get your hand out of my pocket.
Right. You didn't believe. See, we didn't know it. See, you didn't have the media like you did now. That's why even that movie Spike Lee made about Malcolm X was important, because a lot of that information, we had the book that Alex Haley wrote about
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X, but not the movies and the other stuff and the other information. Charlie, you got something?
Nothing, but just the fact that what Reverend Martin Luther King stood for was another reason, and all the things that he tackled.
Right.
That maybe no one else would want to face. He did it himself.
And see when they showed pictures. Excuse me, they had pictures in Jet and Ebony magazine and some news clips sometime in black and white. They showed Dr. King being handcuffed and handled roughly by the police. And then they showed him, somebody shot of him in that Birmingham jail. And then you heard some of you didn't hear it all, but you heard some of the funeral of the 4 young ladies who lost their lives in the church.
In Alabama.
Yeah, so Malcolm X didn't believe in that, turning the other cheek and that type of thing.
So with the fact that Malcolm X didn't believe in turning the other cheek and more standing ground, is that the reason he wasn't getting so much harassment by the police and getting arrested and hosed down, because he wasn't putting himself in those situations? Or was it just
he put himself in some situations?
Or were they treated differently? Why were they treated differently?
I think because of the Nation of Islam. Because of what he had with him, and Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam had a lot of stroke.
He seemed to have gone against some of their teachings, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
They didn't like that, and because of that, they kind of got after him about it. I think they warned him, but he didn't pay any attention to that. And as a result of that, I think that's the reason why they killed him.
Okay, and then see the other thing, and the Kennedy assassination had something to do with the deterioration of his relationship with the Nation of Islam. You never heard of the statement, "The chickens have come to roost"?
Come home to roost.
Yeah. He made that comment. They interviewed him around the time President Kennedy was killed, and he made that comment. Then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad put him on a sanction in regards to speaking.
He told him he couldn't speak.
Right.
The preacher said that too, did he?
Yeah. Some other people said it also.
And isn't that when he took his trip to Mecca?
A little bit later, yes.
And then he came back and he had changed. He had said he was sitting and eating and talking with people and learning other people and learning other things, and they started to have a break.
Right. Well, if you had people who were Muslim, who were all different shades of life.
Yeah, he's seen
blonde, blue-eyed, black, white, brown, yellow, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was willing to work and deal with other people. He said he's seen things in a different light. But they killed him. So who killed him? Was it the government?
In his case, you know, some people say it was the government, and then some people say it was because of the interactions of what was happening with the Nation of Islam and him, and his calling out. You had some people with Dr. King that came packing also. You think all those guys came?
Well, no, that's the stuff. The Carmichael faction is the.
Well, no, you had some older people
that were packing. Really?
Yeah, you never heard of Fred Shuttlesworth?
No.
Go look him up. Shuttlesworth. He just passed in the last year or two. And he was known to bring his piece with him.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm just. Well, and he was Dr. King's age.
That's the part of history. Those are the things that we miss out on.
Right.
Because when you think of Dr. King, you think everything peaceful.
Right.
Always turn the other cheek.
Right.
You never think that there was anybody, even in his faction, in his lexicon, who had a rebel bone in them.
But I'm telling you now, you had a number of the older guys. They were not for this passive, and they felt this was passive to turn the other cheek. You know. Sure, the Malcoms and the Stokely Carmichaels and the H. Rap Browns, they were all played up.
Deacons of defense.
Deacons of the defense. They played up in that regard, but there were some people within.
Really?
Yes, think about it.
You don't hear a lot of that because those types of things are not taught in our history.
No, not in the books.
They are today.
No, yeah. So I know you're getting it right now.
You guys are getting it right now.
Do you think? Now, I'm with my grandparents. Now, I don't know what Charlie's going to say. I'm going with grandparents now. I'm with my grandfather, one of my grandfathers, and say, for an example, he was a bootlegger. So he dealt with a farmer and a bootlegger. He dealt with white people, white males.
Okay.
Were his main clients. He couldn't have survived or been a successful bootlegger if he had not
been for white males.
Without the white males. But do you?
Gotta buy the drink.
But I found out something from that's what they were in a little brown bag. And I found out something from him as a kid, even about 8 or 9 years old. He always kept his pistol with him. He was always wrapped, as they called it. Yeah. He kept. And you're saying now your grandfather comes off like this, and he's supposed to be. Not kind of docile like, but aggressive in another way when he dealt with the business stuff. But he always kept his pistol with him.
Why is that?
Why do you think it was?
He knew not who to not trust.
I had another grandfather who was a minister. Do you think that he was not packing?
He had to pack.
Yeah, he kept a rifle with him. So I'm just saying, these people, they give you this stuff that everybody was for nonviolence. What Dr. King did, convincing people to be nonviolent, is one of the greatest things that ever happened on this planet. When you think about it, convincing these people
to sit here and take it. So Charlie,
they might not come out.
Everybody wasn't as docile as it seems because that's all we see. That's what we get, and even the comparison we get from other races of people, they always say, well, Martin Luther King would do this, and you would assume not only him but the people who followed him as if there were no radicals.
That was the word persona.
Yeah, that's the
persona.
That's the persona they gave you all.
But it wasn't really like that.
We were not. You were taught. Okay, for an example, you get ready to go down. You get ready to go downtown with your mother.
Okay. And
your mother giving you a pep talk. Now, you've been brought up in your neighborhood. Okay, in my case, Sunnyside. You're 9 years old, 8, 9 years old, 7, 6.
I'm in Pasadena, California, right?
And you go. 2 things I learned from my mother and my grandmother. They gave off the persona that they respected white people. I just put it this way. But behind the scene, they were a different kind of people. They taught you some stuff in regards to, you're just as good as they are, but you got to watch them. And they would give you pep talks when they got ready. In the case of my grandmother, when you're in a small town, Jewett, Texas, so 45. When you go downtown, you don't sit on the counter stools. Because it was
because
segregation. Yeah, you don't sit, but you go there, and you do, and your grandmother spank you in front of those white people, just kind of slap you on the butt. Oh, you know, you shouldn't have been doing it. Then we got outside.
To please their sensibilities.
Got outside, they were called all kind of names by the same woman who just told you you did the wrong thing. But she explained it to you. You did the wrong thing because you do this in the wrong place, and we're not around. We don't know what may happen to you. You may disappear.
Right.
But they're wrong for what they're doing. Back to that gun thing. Everybody had a gun, black.
So people were just playing their role.
Am I right? I mean, you know any family that didn't have a gun, but the daddy didn't have a gun?
They did. They used it for hunting.
That's what they claim. But they were also there for protection. And when they went on the highway, I had an uncle and we drove to Martin Luther King's funeral. And I'm thinking, he's a minister. Guess what? In the glove compartment was a gun. In the back of the station wagon, up by where the tire was a shotgun wrapped up in it. So you ask him, why would you, we going to Dr. King's, why would you bring a rifle and a gun? And I can't tell you what he said. Now, this was a minister on this program. And one of the things he said, you must be out of your mind to think that we're going to drive 800 miles through Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and Georgia without any protection. I'm going out in the blaze, is what he said. So, see, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, Benny Wilson. His name was Benny Wilson. But go ahead.
The way it's been presented to us is the opposite. And now it makes me wonder why it wasn't presented to us in that way, and who does that benefit? To make people think that everybody associated with or everybody who followed with Dr. King was docile.
Okay, then in your history books, when you were in school, did you get Nat Turner?
Nat Turner.
Nat Turner. Did you ever learn?
No, Black history was only about.
It's the same reason.
Black history, when I grew up, was strictly Martin Luther King.
Right. But
first through 12th grade. That was it.
But it was the same reason. See, it was the same reason. They didn't want us to have those kind of attitudes. The teachers, you in the 10th grade, 9th or 10th grade, they tell you about a book. The teacher closes the door. It's Black History Month. He's teaching out of the textbook, the Texas history book that he gave, with very little history in it. But he says he closes the book and he starts talking real softly. If you want to really know about slavery, go get the book called A Mandingo. I know he wrote it. He said, I'm going to write it up. I'm going to write the spelling of it on the board and the author. He wrote it up there right quick. He said, everybody got it? And then he erased it. They didn't want you. You had people trying to teach you this stuff, but they don't want you to know because they wanted to. What did they take away from us when we first came here?
All of our history. So
why would they want us to know?
Learn our history.
We're going back now to 1963 through 60, when Charlie and I was in school, 55 to 70 or whatever, 66. If they didn't want us to know our history then, think about why they don't want you to know it now.